Hello everyone, it is time for me to review the Múspell banner. It has been a while, hasn't it? Reason being, I'm going to be slowing on video content a bit. I know there's a legendary banner coming, but that one might be a bit late, just like this one is. I need a break at this point. I don't want to burn myself off, and this is where it's heading to, and let's be honest, I don't want to get there. I still really much like this game, it's just that after a while of doing content like this non-stop, it starts getting a bit grating, so I'm going to be a bit slower on this. And after the legendary banner, I might actually just slow down a lot more. So there's that. If you do want my opinion quicker when it comes down to new characters, well, just poke me on Discord, it's just a lot easier that way. Though I won't go as much, well, as in-depth as I am on those videos. Anyway, so, this banner brings the long sought after 3 characters of, well, basically the Múspell bunch, which are Legiarn, Elbindi, and Levitain. I'll be honest, I really wanted to build Legiarn for the longest time, and I keep hearing stuff that are completely wrong for Levitain. Legiarn also, to some extent, they completely disregard their pref because it's stupid. It's really silly. But yeah, let's start. So, Levitain. Now, Levitain, she's the type of character that really requires speed plus to function as good as she can. Which is funny because a lot of fucking websites are like, go attack plus, it's so good on her! And I'm just standing here like, are you out of your mind? Because, let's put it this way. If I use my Levitain, she has 90 plus attack. What's the purpose of putting an extra 3 attack on that when you can get 3 more speed and double more people? It's fucking simple, isn't it? And then people will come to me and be like, well, her speed is not good enough, so it's not really relevant. And to those people I say, do you see her C slot? Speed plus means 40 speed already with her base kit. Sorry, 43 with Fury. You can run Brazen Attack speed, that's 47 speed. Wow, all of a sudden you're actually quick. Ooh, the tug. With Arena bonus and Summoner support, that's 53 speed. You're doubling Ira, for fuck's sake. It's not difficult, and a plus 10 Ira at that. But for some reason, people just completely disregard this kind of thing, and here we are. Anyway, so Speed Plus is easily your best boon. Attack Plus is kind of a, I'd say, third choice, because Def Plus is also very fantastic. She has actually a lot more bulk than I expected her to have. 34 is really, really good. With something as simple as Def Tactic, Def Plus, you're already at 43 Def. Or if you use Attack Def Link, that's also an option. It's kind of silly, isn't it? She is really, really fantastic, honestly. If you use Fury or Brazen Attack Def, if you use Fury and Def Plus, and then Attack Def Link, that's 46 Def. If you're in Brazen Attack Def range, you're at 50 defense. So you can go either really bulky, hitting like a truck, really fast, somewhat bulky, well actually more bulky than most unit, have a lot of attack. There's a lot of things you can do with Levitain. And while I usually put the worst unit to the best unit, this banner is very equal in a way. They're all about the same in terms of utility, so I'd say they're all about equal. If they're not about equal, they're very close of it, so just so you know. So, alright. You might also see the rate. The rate for off banner has drastically lowered. I don't know if it's gonna stay that way for a while. I hope it does, but you know. 30.22% chance of pulling the 5-star. So I was expecting 30.3%, and that much has been really apparent on my video where I summoned. I forgot to realize that since there was 2 focus, the rate does lower, but not by much. I was expecting 3 to 3%, we got 3 to 22%. Same thing, really. But yeah. So, let's move on to the comparison, shall we? If I can fucking learn how to scroll properly. Okay. So, really, there's not many comparison I can make here. Vanguard Hike has a lot of things in common. The biggest difference between one stat to the other, between those two, is like 2, and that's HP, which, you know. 2 points of difference in HP. She has 1 more attack, 1 more speed, at the cost of one death, and she also has 1 more res, I believe. Which, yeah, it's very close. I've put Crom here because, honestly, I could not find a 5th one, and Crom is a really good free-to-play option to some extent, purely because of Sealed Falchion. If you get Speed Plus, so to some extent, he can actually outshine Levitain. But if you really like Levitain and you're pulling for her because of that, you'll most likely end up with a Speed Plus in the long run, so at that point she's going to outperform Crom. Her attack is far superior as a result because of the way our weapon works and the fact that it's 19 might to begin with. Speed-wise, when Crom is hurt and using Sealed Falchion, he's going to outspeed Levitain unless you have Speed Plus yourself. So there's that. And, well, while Vanguard Hike is very close in terms of stats, he's not close in terms of utility. Well, no, actually, he outshines Levitain on terms of utility. To be honest, he is the best free-to-play unit, like the best unit we've got for free, for a reason. Very solid stat spread, very good for soloing basically anything because of Radiant Ether and the fact that he has a breath skill. But if you're talking about PvP fight, where you can't really tank as well as you can in PvE stuff, Levitain outshines him completely. To put it bluntly, Levitain is really good on the offense, has a potent defense but not that great, whereas Ike has a really solid bulk, can really abuse Radiant Ether to live longer, but on the offense side, he is lacking at times. Like, if he's out of quick repose range, you're fucked. Whereas, unless you build for him to be speedy, which doesn't tend to really pan out, unlike Levitain, who's really aggressive to begin with. So, there's that. Levitain is going to be my bonus unit for Arena, as much as I wanted it to be Leg Yarn, because I wanted to show off how good her weapon can be, but it is what it is. I ended up pulling her 3 times, while Leg Yarn I ended up pulling her twice. I'm surprised I even managed to pull her a 2nd time, so, you know. I'll take what I can get. Crom is a bit in the middle when it comes down to hyper offensive or hyper defensive. The second he's in Sealed Falchion range, he can actually do a lot of things. It's just getting there might be problematic at times, and you know, if you're using a Brazen, you're a bit in danger as well. So, you know. Let's move on to Leg Yarn. So, a lot of people are like, just replace our weapon, it's not good. And while I agree for PvE purpose, in PvP that is foolish. If you score high enough in PvP, you have no doubt realized that double rallies are fucking everywhere, and the fact that Double Rally Plus got released literally 2 banners ago, kind of just makes our weapon even better. Now, it seems a few people seem to think it's 50% off each stats increased, so like, if someone gets 6 def and 6 speed, she gets 3 def and 3 speed. That is not the case. Oh boy, is it not the case. You take the entire amount of buff, add it together, so 6 def, 6 speed, with just double rally, plus, and that's 12. You cut it in 2, that's 6. You get 6 in every stat. So the second you know how to abuse the enemy AI, you can just abuse it, so you just buff all your stats all the time. Now it can be a bit problematic, because once you're down to one unit, getting the rally buff is a bit difficult, right? But yeah, she's still a very good unit. If you're dealing with tactics, she's going to tear them a new asshole. Let's put it this way. For example, if there's 3 tactic on one character, she buffs by 9 in every stats. 41 attack, 45 speed, 45 death, and fucking 26 res. Like, what? And then you had the weapon on top of that, that's what, 57 attack, 48 speed, that's ridiculous, 45 death, because, you know, outshining even Beruka in terms of bulk is totally nothing, right? And 26 res, which is still pretty respectable, and on top of that you can use buff on your own, so she can actually pass a 30 res at that point. It's kind of silly. If you're using her against tactic teams, she's going to decimate them. If not, if they have double rally, and which is most likely going to be double rally plus speed def, she's also going to fuck them up. So yeah, she is absolutely insane. But with that said, what else to say? Distant Guard is a skill that was originally only on legendary units. Shield Attack was also only on a seasonal unit, so to see them in the pool is kind of nice. Distant Guard to me is really not that great, but it's good to have the option nonetheless. I'm glad I don't care about any of those skills, because I'm planning on merging her to +10 if I can down the line. Now, I know what everyone wants me to talk about, and that's the fucking dual skills. How should I put it? Those skills are not a bad idea, okay? Those skills are not a bad idea. Their execution is absolutely horrible, though. First off, it doesn't really fix the main issue Arena has, and it has no control over, so that's fucking great. For example, this is a bit less prominent for red flying unit than it is for green infantry, but a good old pal called Elysian Traveler Olivia can use this, and how can I put it? With Sing, or actually in her case Dance, she ends up scoring for 744 in Arena. 744. Now, this is just a number that a lot of people won't be able to understand what I mean by this, but to put it bluntly, my Ira, if I was to be running Ira's Blade to just maximize her kit score, would score the same as PA Olivia, not PA Olivia, fucking Elysian Traveler Olivia. Because that's not stupid at all, right? That means you have to deal with dancers the higher you go in Arena, the more consistently than ever. Sheena, with her best kit for scoring, will score 746 or 748 with double rally plus, and 746 for Ira for double rally plus, but that is a bit steep of a cost considering, you know, I like Quan. Still, down the line, that's just 2 point over Azura, and you don't have to run double rally on them. Like, I keep seeing this argument of, oh, but it's fine, it's completely fine, Jay, because they have to run double rally if they want to ever score well in Arena. Yeah, because you run a dancer with that 170 BST skill to fucking rally. Are you serious? You're missing the point, motherfucker. You still score a lot per unit. There's nothing to be said about this, and dancers can just abuse it, no problem. You're talking about Elysian Traveler Olivia, who comes with guidance, by the way, who comes with chill speed, by the way, who can just fuck you over just because of that one skill. The thing that made high tier Arena a bit fun at times is just because it becomes so predictable and you never have to deal with dancers. Now you have to deal with dancers, you have to deal with mages, you have to deal with a combo of both. Isn't that great? Elysian Traveler Olivia with guidance and teleporting Lewin, for example, who scores the same, by the way, as she does. Oh wait, no, never mind. Lewin can score as high as 750. Yeah, I get it. They lose Fury. Yeah, I get it. They lose Life and Death. Lewin doesn't care about those skills in general, though. His stat line with just the AoE skill is enough. That's how frustrating it is to deal with this guy. If you do not bait him properly with AI, he's going to fuck you up. And if he runs a fucking AoE, you're fucked. That is just a fact. Because he's just going to be dishing out AoE after AoE, because Flashing Blade is going to be proccing all the time. Isn't that a genius fucking idea? Like, fuck me. It's just such a fucking annoying one. Now, how would I have implemented this? Basically make so it works on everyone but characters with dance skills. So if the character has a dance skill and you run a double rally on the character, yeah, you can use it. But the second you use dance, it gets unequipped immediately. Something like that would have been perfect. Because dancer, the higher you go in arena, the more cancerous it becomes. So it's just not a good fucking a good environment. And the more time will pass, the more annoying those skills will be. Boy, I guess no one can wait for colorless Cav duel, because yeah, you know, Veronica is totally not fucking obnoxious. You know, the character that doesn't care about her A slot whatsoever, to the point where people run close defense, even though it's not close defense, close counter on her, even though it's not really that great. Yeah, it's the same concept. At that point, they don't care about losing their A slot. They still do the same problem, which is just debuffing and buffing their entire team. It's fucking cancerous, and they have no way to fucking regulate this outside of, look, new skill. My problem with this stems from the fact that they don't really think before acting. Certain characters should just never be able to use those skills. I feel like range calves should not be able to use those skills. I feel like dancers should not be able to use those skills. I feel like healers should not be able to use those skills. Pain Plus, Dazzling Staff are some of the most annoying skills that you have to deal with. And if you have to deal with in the long run with those skills, fuck you. I don't even want to run colorless infantry duel on my George. Because my George needs every stat he gets. He wants everything. But guess who doesn't want everything? Guess who doesn't care about anything? Healers. Healers don't need it. So they lose basically nothing and gain too much from it. It's basically all good and no bad. Which is the big problem it has. Yeah, you lose maybe a bit of set diversity, but then Dazzling Staff Pain Plus, who cares, right? It's a shame, really. It's a shame, because they had a way to fix it, and they just blew it. I think that's my main issue with this. Anyway, enough about talking about the skill, let's talk about the comparison with Lady Arn. So, I just want to say before we start, if there's any characters I would compare her to that is not red, it would be Beruka. Because you basically are looking at a character who has more attack than Beruka, more speed than Beruka, more depth than Beruka, and not that far off in HP either from Beruka. So yeah, it's really, really good. The main issue she has is low res, but that's not that much of a problem, even against Blade Tome, because if you're dealing with Blade Tomes anyway, and it's a fully buffed Blade Tome, you get plus 12 in res. And them doubling her is unlikely. because she has an actual speed stat. So, you know, say it's Nino, right? Nino has 33 attack, plus 13 because of the weapon, can't use an A slot because of G infantry duel. That's 46, then you had 30 fucking stat because she has plus 6 in everything. That is 76 attack. From the get-go, that would kill you if it wasn't for her weapon. You go down to 61, you do 44 damage. But if you're actually with Niu, well, that 44 damage goes down to 32. You actually can tank it, hit Desperation, hit Brazens, all of that fun stuff. So, you know, you're safe. Niu is just a really good weapon. You can still survive with a refined Slaying Edge, but you don't get any stat up on the next turn, because the best part about Niu is, yeah, you can tank it, and then on the next turn you attack and you just basically does... You basically have 51 speed. How are you not doubling? You know? And that's a +0 versus a +0. The reason why I point that out is because if you're showing a +0 versus a +10, which by the way she also tanks, no problem actually. Like, it's 80 attack, minus 16, 64, that's 47 damage, plus 12, that minus 12, that's 35 damage, she lives on 6 health. Since she can tank at +0 or +10, well, let's just put it this way. Doesn't matter what merge she is at, doesn't matter what merge the enemy is at, you will tank it. Even though with res minus, you tank it with 2 health left. Actually, no, 1 health. My bad. So, you know, the more you know. So, alright. She's basically a red Beruka with a speed stat and an attack stat. And I think at this point, people know I like Beruka. I've been using her a lot on my streams. Whenever I can, anyway. So, let's compare. She is straight power creep from New Year Camilla, actually. There's no way else to put it. Camilla has 1 more attack, 1 less HP, 1 less speed, 5 less defense, but 6 more res. A res is usually her dump stat for a reason, right? It doesn't help her all that much, unless you want to make her a weird crossbreed, which would basically be a mixed tank with 31 defense and 27 res. But unless you do that, and at that point you have to run HP minus, which is not great, by the way. Yeah, it's not ideal at all. It's not ideal at all. So, okay. What about Ryoma? Well, Ryoma is a bit better offensively, though his weapon sucks and you have to replace it. But there is one good thing to say about this is he doesn't care. He doesn't care having to replace his weapon because his B slot is 300 SP. So if you run DB4 with Bushido, you can actually switch his weapon and lose no point in arena, because you can just take the 50 loss in SP and still do not lose a BS, and still not lose an SP bin. For those who don't know what the fuck kind of gibberish I just said, just watch my tutorial video on arena scoring. It's easier for me to just plug this than explain it here. But to put it in layman's term, because he has a 300 SP B slot, if you run a 300 SP A slot, he loses nothing switching his weapon out for a weapon that actually helps him, unlike Reginto, because Reginto sucks. It sucks because he's a flyer and he has no res. So, you know, that's the best of both worlds, isn't it? Now, if you're talking about defensively, he is worse in every way in every shape or form, outside of tanking mages, but as we already established, he actually struggled with that already, so, you know. The worst part about a flyer with DC is just how you need to run IOD Shield for archers and you need to run DV3 for mages, in his case. You can't run both, unless you run DV3 as his A slot, but that's not great. That's not great at all. So because of this, you can only really cover one of your weaknesses, unless you lose something like Fury, something like DB4, something like Swift Sparrow, and that's a problem. His best weapon ends up being Fire Sweep Sword, but he can't really use it because you lose an SP bin because you can't refine that weapon, so it costs 350 SP as a result. So you're stuck at 300 SP. So as a result, you kind of have to run Slaying Edge, and Slaying Edge is great on him. Ryoma, I know I said really bad things about him when he was released because he was just such an atrocity when it came down to sets. But the higher you went in Arena, the better he became. As a matter of fact, he was one of the better legendary hero back then in high tier. Because he just had such a potent offense, had enough bulk against melee unit, could not deal with fucking mages to save his own life, but you didn't find those anyway. Dragons always gave him problems, but in general, if he was the one proccing first, he did not struggle too much. There was a lot of good about him, and I completely missed the point of that, so that was on me. Still, if you're comparing him to Legiarm, kinda hard to say. Legiarm is a bit better in my opinion, just because Double Rally becomes so consistent in the higher tiers. And if not, well, you're most likely playing PvE, or if you're playing too low, you can just run Slaying Edge. There's just a lot of way to go around it. Legiarm is also the queen of Brazen skills, unlike those two, because, let's face it, 36 defense, 39 speed, because of her weapon, is insane. Especially if you take a Slaying Edge where you have 39 speed, 36 def, 46 health, and that's unbuffed. It's really hard to take down unless you have a mage. A very, very quick mage that does not rely on buffs, because if they rely on buffs, well, she's just going to buff herself up as well, so it doesn't matter. She virtually negates the speed from Double Rally plus speed def. And she also negates the def part because she gets 6 attack from it to counter the 6 defense. But hey, if you're using Double Rally speed def on her against her, well, you're basically giving her 6 more attack and 6 more res. Straight up. And you gain nothing. That's just how good she is. At the same time, dealing with her becomes an easy thing, which is the kind of characters I'm glad to see, because I really hate when it's so good on both sides. Like Bolt Fighter, Steady Breath with QR is too good on both phases. In her case, she is really good in the end of the player, not so good in the end of the AI. I'm fine with this. I find that perfect, actually. So, you know. Well, with that said, I guess I can't really say who's the best between Ryoma or her. Ryoma is more of an hyper-offensive death machine. And even then, not by much over Legiarm, but he does have 2 more attack and 3 more speed. And Legiarm is just better for tanking. In Ice-Tier Arena, if you're talking about only armored units, which is a meta that's changing purely because of the advent of Green Infantry duel and Red Flyer duel, well, I'd say she's still really good purely because the only mages that can really annoy her are green. There are some red mages, but they're both seasonals, so it doesn't matter too much. And in general, those ones actually get screwed over a lot by their A slot. Like I said, the main issue with dual skills is just there's no limit on who can use them properly, and that's a problem. That's a huge error. Also, I do want to say, the Múspell banner is one of the video with the least views on Nintendo Mobile. Boy, what a great idea was it to reveal that they were going to be added to the pool so early on. Fucking hell. Anyway, let's move on to Best Boy El Bindi. Now, I guess before I start, I should talk about Green Dual Infantry and why it's worse and more annoying to deal with than Red Flyer Infantry. Red Flyer Infantry is a very, very small, not Red Flyer Infantry, Red Dual Flyer. I can't speak good, yes. It's quite simple. There are far more units that can actually abuse this. Anything that relates to infantry unit can abuse this shit so much. It does get rid of steady breath, thankfully, but still, it is such a strong skill. It's so stupid. Red Flyer is like, oh, you have Sita, Pala, Elincia, Summertana, Halloween, Naui, Elysian Traveler, Olivia, and then I'm probably missing one or two, but well, you have Lake Yarn, obviously, but like, you have, oh, and New Year Camilla, obviously, and also Legendary Ryoma. I should have pointed those first, but I'm stupid. Like, there is a pool of them, but it's like 10 units. That's the thing. Green Dual Infantry. How many fucking cancerous unit can use this? You have Lowin, you have Nino, you have PA Inigo. Ranged dancers are the fucking worst, by the way. Because the way AI works is it always do melee and then ranged units. The problem with this is basically the melee unit moves first and then the dancer moves to dance it. If they're all melee, you can actually manipulate the AI for the dancer to move first, which makes things a lot easier. You can't do that here. So PA Nigo is a fucking pest and a half. PA Azura can also score stupidly high because she has a pref as well. What else? Actually, no, her pref doesn't do shit because 300 SP. My bad. And because she used Sing. Nino. Well, yeah, Nino, Lewin, PA Inigo, PA Azura. I feel like I'm forgetting one here. Oh yeah, I guess there's also a Shiden Festival, Elincia. And there's another one I'm probably messing up, the Dancer bunch. There's a lot of green dancers and it's just really frustrating to deal with. So this skill is really fucking frustrating to see, because also you have to kill Best Boy El Bindi for it. Just like how the other Best Girl requires you to kill her to get another skill. Now, I don't understand what they did with this kit. You have to understand, this guy, every time he appeared on a map, he had Wrath. Outside of one particular map, I'm not too sure what he had on that one. Yet for some reason he has Guard? Okay. Huh? I've been wanting in Bindi in this game for a long time, and as a matter of fact, when fucking Hector was revealed, I was just depressed. I was expecting El Bindi, because it seemed El Bindi died in the story, which in reality he didn't. It just was still alive, crawling around. The more you know. But yeah, I'm glad that you actually can get him outside of legendary banners. I hope he pity fists me a lot, just like Lynn did on the last fucking banner. Fuck Lynn, by the way. But yeah, also Guard. Apparently, if he was to be demoted, Guard would be available at 4-star. Guard 3, obviously. And that's not happening. No one's getting demoted from this banner, which is a shame. Because if literally any of these characters were to be demoted, any of them, I'd be fucking happy right now. because I would be building it no matter who it is, because I'm running out of fucking project to work on. Even Levitain, I would say fuck it and do it, because mine is already +2. I already got, to some extent, in my opinion, perfect IVs. I got speed plus def minus. Def minus is really good because you can actually keep your res against so many green dragons. It's actually stupid. You can just tank Grima and one-shot his ass. That's great. And if you're talking about offensively, you do so much damage anyway as well. Let's just put it this way: we'll have fun on the next stream where I'm going to be proccing for 40 extra damage with Dragon Fang and just one-shotting Ardens and Brave Vectors, you know, typical stuff. But yeah, Bylester is the main reason I wanted him for the longest time. He is a fantastic buffer of the time, obviously, because those are waves. But the thing that's fun about Bylester is if you run, what's the fucking word? Even waves on your team, you can effectively be buffed at all time, and Albindi will take the odd wave on every spot. So that's cool. Sadly, that doesn't mean you'll be able to proc everything consistently, because it's only one range. Tactics are better on that regard. Sorry. But, you know, it is what it is. I don't... Sorry. I don't know how good he's gonna be, but... Well, actually, I do know how good he's gonna be. It's just... He has such a weird stat spread, and he has the weirdest color to go with it, which is a shame, because... since he's infantry, he doesn't get bullfighter and such. But his stat spread is so good! On the bright side though, it means he has 2 movement at all time, which is good. He is min-max to hell and back, which is great. So, enough of this, let's talk about Albindi in comparison. I haven't butchered this word once so far. That's surprising. So, I've been saying a lot on my stream how Albindi is just a basically min-maxed Alkai, and as you can see here, it is basically true. You lose 1 HP, but you have 2 more attack, you have 7 more defense, you have 1 more res, you have a whole lot less speed, but who cares? 22 speed or 18 speed, it doesn't matter. 14 speed doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you would always get doubled anyway, so it doesn't do shit that you're speed minus or not. In both of those units' case, you would go speed minus anyway. You'd go speed minus def plus on Alkai and speed minus res plus on Albindi for bulk. Otherwise, speed minus attack plus is good on both. So a lot of people have been saying how Alkai is shit, and honestly, he's one of the most underrated unit out there. But the fact still remains. Albindi here is just so fucking better, it's not even funny. He has a 16 might weapon. Of course, you can get Slaying Axe on that boy Alkai. You can also use Slaying Axe on Albindi, and at that point you're literally better in every way, shape, or form. If your Nightmare get an attack plus speed minus Albindi, you can go just with a res refine on the Slaying Axe. You'll have 35-35 defensively, which is insane. But you'll also, on top of this, have 52 attack because of attack plus. It's insane. Absolutely insane. But I wouldn't get rid of Bylester. Bylester is really, really, really good. It's just that kind of weapon that we will use and just abuse with Blade Tomes, for example. There's so many Blade Tomes you could use with this. The extra defense is so important and so essential in some cases, because a lot of cases you will get hit your lower stat, or you will get hit death because it's a DC armored unit, which means having that 4 more def is just enough bulk to actually let you tank a hit in a lot of cases. For example, if you have 38 HP and 17 def, and you run Fury, that's 20 def, 38 HP, You get buffed by his axe, that's 62 bulk. You can take up to 62 attack at once. Which is pretty consistent. So, you know, and if the unit is actually bulky in defense, or has a decent amount of health, what you could do is just run him and just run life and death on the character if you want. You lose basically nothing as a result, so it's good. It's good. Now the reason why I put Sheena here is because, if I'm being completely honest, Hellbindy is kind of a min-max Sheena, which is really weird. But really, 5 more attack, which is the main problem Sheena has. She's really bulky, but taking down literally anything is damn near impossible for her. She has 1 more def and 2 more res, which is good, but it's not that much different. You do get something from it, obviously, but it's not that great. And her speed, the fact that you have to go speed plus on her for scoring is atrocious. It's actually really bad. Because it means you can't go attack plus, you can't go def plus, you can't go res plus, unless you're going to just use her outside arena, so that means you probably have better unit to use. Which, yeah, if you don't, tough luck, my dude. Tough luck. So basically, Hellbindy is kind of like an infantry Sheena, but also a buffer. It's really fucking stupid how good that is. It's such a dumb combo, you do not expect it to be good. Yet it is. Yet it fucking is. I mean, I'm not complaining. I like the fact that that boy got a really fun niche. Though it kind of means Alkai is a bit less relevant now, but, you know, whatever, right? So, yeah. In conclusion, all of those units are really good. But it comes down to how much you want them. They will most likely appear on Legendary Banner frequently. At least I hope they will. Whenever there's a new Legendary unit, if there's one of those boys that are on the banner, I'm going to be happy. Because even if I get pity-fisted by one of them, I'm fine. I want to use all of them, so, you know. I don't really like Levitain as a character. I feel like she is fucking dumb. And the fact that Leegyard and Hellbindy died is, well, actually, we don't know if Hellbindy died. They kind of just went off-screen with it. So they might have just pulled what they did before and just... He's still alive, just hidden somewhere. I would laugh my ass off. But at the same time, I'd be like, what is he going to say? Levitain's confession is clearly like, yeah, you know what? I like being around you and all, but the other two feel so disconnected. Though Hellbindy does have a quote where he talks about his sister, and we actually know her name now. I think it's something like Rempa. I might be wrong here. I know it's like a 5-letter name. It's like, have you seen a little girl called Rempa? Ah, forget it. Typical Hellbindy. But yeah, I think that's about it. I don't think I have much else to say. Just a really good banner, and like I said on the stream, it has some of the best raids this game has ever seen. I am the king of fucking unfocus, sadly, but, you know. At the end of the day, you have over 10% chance of pulling a 5-star red. So, that's insane. That is absolutely insane. Granted, part of it is in off-banner, but, you know. I believe it's something like 10.2, 10.3% chance of pulling a 5-star from red, which is just insane. Absolutely insane. But, with that said, I think I'm going to call it here, guys. If you do want to keep talking to me or asking me questions or participate in the Show Me Your Build I'm doing on the 1st of October, join my Discord. It's gonna be in the description as usual. I'm also going to put the arena score tutorial video I made in the description, because I guess it's relevant because of the dual skills. And I'm gonna leave it there. Have a nice one, everyone.